Monty Panesar reminded the watching England selector James Whittaker of his talents by claiming 7 for 60, the best figures of his career, as Somerset collapsed horribly on the second day of their crucial LV County Championship clash with title rival Sussex, before they too fought back with the ball. After heavy rain cut the first day of this fascinating match short, Somerset resumed on the second morning on 175 for 3, with Marcus Trescothick soon adding to the 16 boundaries he'd struck on day one. He needed just 20 minutes to convert his 89 to 100, the 50th of his first-class career. A misfield from Ed Joyce allowed him the single, which keeps his number of half-centuries at 97 in the first-class game. This ton had occupied 167 deliveries. He and Joss Butler had carried the score steadily to 199 in a quiet first 45 minutes. Butler then drove Panesar to long off to give the spinner his third wicket of the innings. Butler was gone for 25 at 199 for 4, but Trescothick and new man Alex Sparrow were able to bring Somerset their first batting bonus point of the game. Although they soon lost Barrow, caught at short leg off Panesar for 7, the home side would still have been hopeful of a substantial first innings total. And that looked likely, with Trescothick taking his boundary tally to 20 and the total to 241 for 5. But the innings turned rather dramatically either side of lunch once Trescothick nicked Chris Nash behind to go for 123 and to leave him just 68 runs short of 20,000 first-class runs. Panesar then recorded the 29th 5-wicket haul of his career by bowling Peter Trigo with a delivery which hardly bounced. And when Abdur-Rahman was leg before to Nash for 4, the collapse was on. Straight after lunch, Panesar struck again by having Sajid Mahmood on his Somerset debut after being released by Lancashire for the remainder of the season, taken at bat pad. Incredibly, Somerset lost their last 5 wickets for 6 runs in 7 overs, with Panesar finishing things off by catching the edge of Steve Kirby's bat. Somerset were all out for 247, with the left-arm spinner claiming 7 for 60, the best analysis of his career. Sussex must have been feeling on top of the world after that, and Nash was not about to let Somerset back in. 10 runs were hit off Kirby's opening over as Nash went after the bowling, perhaps trying to make the most of the new ball and the pacemen before the spinners were called into action. Joyce also helped himself to a couple of boundaries as this pair quickly put on 45 for the first wicket in 8 overs. So Jamal Hussain replaced Kirby and he soon struck, Nash turning a ball from him into the hands of Arul Sapaya to go for a runner ball 31. 3 balls later and Joyce nicked Trigo behind as Somerset began their fight back. All eyes were now on Abdur-Rahman when he was brought into the attack. The runs dried up and then his quicker ball was edged by Murray Goodwin and was caught, eventually, by Trescothick. Goodwin had put on 23 with Luke Wells in 17 overs, which showed just how difficult it had become to score against Rahman in particular, and indeed against Mahmood, whose first ball in Somerset colours bonked Michael Yardley on the head. This was certainly not an old-fashioned Taunton strip where the batsmen could play with some comfort. Here they were made to work really hard for their runs against a very well-disciplined home attack who were giving very little away. And they were rewarded when Kirby, back after an expensive opening spell, beat Yardley for pace to have him LBW for 18. That was soon backed up by Abdur-Rahman as Wells tried to break the shackles, but instead drove to Sapaya to depart for 28 at 122 for 5. It was becoming a stop-start innings for Sussex. Partnerships were just being developed when they were suddenly ended before they'd completely taken off. Ben Brown and Luke Wright had to hope that their efforts for the 6th wicket would buck the trend. It already looks like the kind of pitch where any kind of first innings advantage could be important. These two added a quick-fire 24. But it's Somerset who'll start the second part of this intriguing match just about on top, after Wright on 22 was leg before to Hussain. Brown and Steve McGoffin did manage to see out the final 2.5 overs, and they'll now resume on day 3 on 161 for 6 and trailing by 86. The third morning will be as crucial as any session has been for these sides this season.